let's check out an article so everyone, again, stays up to date on this. What do we have here? So this is Reuters. Britain's Starmer, yay, Starmer the hero. He was the hero in the past and he's the hero now. And he says that anyone who's concerned about this is jumping on the far-right bandwagon, but by golly, hero Starmer decided to jump on the far-right bandwagon. He is now part of the far-right. Britain's Starmer announces national inquiry into grooming gangs. Let's see. This is a short article, so we'll just go and probably read the whole thing real quick. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said on Saturday he would accept a recommendation for a national inquiry into grooming gangs who sexually abused thousands of girls, having previously resisted calls for a statutory review. You certainly need to do more investigating into the grooming gangs. I'm really concerned about the people who covered it up. The scandal, which revealed how gangs of mostly Pakistan... Dude, what are you saying? Guardian? Or Reuters? Oh, it's Reuters. Okay, they said Pakistani. I was like, you're supposed to say Asian, but Reuters is not... Okay, Reuters is not controlled by the British government. The scandal, which revealed how gangs of mostly Pakistani men had groomed, trafficked, and raped young white girls more than a decade ago. Nah, it's still going on, guys. You just have to be a little more careful about it now. Returned to the political agenda this year after U.S. billionaire Elon Musk criticized the British government. Thank you, Elon. This right now would not be happening without Elon, would not be happening without Tommy. On Saturday, Musk responded to a post on X thanking him for drawing attention to the matter, saying he is glad to hear this is happening. But he's only interested in it for himself, isn't it? Interior Minister Yvette Cooper in January asked Louise Casey, a former senior official, to undertake a rapid audit of the scale and nature of gang-based exploitation in Britain. Well, we have an idea of the scale. You're talking hundreds of thousands of girls and thousands of Pakistani men, entire like families of guys. I think in one town it was like 8% of the Pakistani population was like raping girls and so on. Anyway, so we know the scale of that. I'm interested in the scale of the cover-up and who was covering it up and how high this goes. Casey's report is expected to say that vulnerable white British girls were institutionally ignored by police and local authorities, fearing being accused of racism, Sky News reported on Saturday. Yes, we're familiar with that. Casey's position when she started the audit was that there was not a real need for that's interesting. So she changed her mind. So she looked into things to decide whether they need a national inquiry. And she thought no at first. And then she looked into it and then she said, yes, we need one. So apparently there's stuff that is not common knowledge now, public knowledge, and that needs to be exposed. Casey's position when she started the audit was that there was not a real need for a national inquiry over and above what was going on. Starmer told reporters en route to the G7 summit in Canada on Saturday. She has come to the view that there should be a national inquiry on the basis of what she has seen. I have read every single word of her report and I'm going to accept her recommendation. That's good. And the Conservative Party leader, Kemi Badenoch, said Starmer had to be led by the nose to make what she said was the correct decision. So he basically had to be forced into it. Wow. I've been repeatedly calling for a full national inquiry since January, she said. Many survivors of the grooming gangs will be relieved that this is finally happening, but they need a resolution soon, not in 10 years' time. Yeah. You don't want them to be this slow thing of, oh, yeah, we're on it. And nothing ever happens and they just pretend they're on it. So here's a reaction from Samantha Smith, who is one of the grooming gang victims. I think she's the one who said it started when she was 5 and that she grew up, her and the other girls she knew, they grew up thinking it's normal. They just thought it was normal life that young British girls are raped and gang raped and pimped by Muslims. She just thought this was normal life. Like that's all she knew. That's the only existence she knew. And she thought that was normal. It's just a Pakistani dude can just walk up to you and grab you and do whatever he wants to you. And that's just life. And that's seriously messed up. But she says, don't be fooled. Starmer only announced a national inquiry to woo back the same voters he once branded far-right thugs. Labor doesn't care about the countless little girls who were raped, exploited, and killed by Pakistani Muslim gangs. They never did, and they don't now. I hope things are better than they look, but what she just said is basically my position. They don't care. They care about votes. They care about, under no circumstances do they want to be accused of racism. They need the Muslim vote in the various cities and so on. And so I do not expect them to be taking this seriously. And as far as I can tell, based on decades of their behavior, there are people who are far more concerned about remaining in power and achieving power than they are about little girls. They will gladly sacrifice those little girls for votes. That's what it looks like. Here we go. Keir Starmer bows to pressure to launch new grooming gangs investigation. New probe and statutory public inquiry will be a means to get truth and justice. Home Secretary says, there you have it. The British government, the Labour Party, they're all about truth and justice. All right, now we're going to find out. What would be crazy is if they didn't, identify the grooming gangs at all. Maybe that's going to be unacceptable at this point. Prime Minister Keir Starmer, blah, blah, blah. Keir Starmer has launched a sweeping national operation to investigate grooming gangs and a statutory inquiry into institutional failure, marking a significant reversal after months of pressure on Labour to act. Months of pressure. Thank you, Elon. Tommy before you, but lots of credit to Elon for this pressure. The National Crime Agency, the UK's top investigative body, has been tasked with leading a coordinated national push to reopen historic group-based child sexual abuse cases and identify offenders who slipped through the cracks of previous police efforts. So they want to find more victims and identify more groomers and rapists. The new operation will also aim to put vile criminals behind bars and bring justice to victims whose cases were not previously progressed through the justice system, according to officials. More than 800 such cases have already been reopened. Whoa. You guys see that? More than 800 such cases have already been reopened since January. This means that cases they didn't pursue from back in the day, and they're like, we need to reopen these cases. Why? Because there was a lot of pressure on them. People were condemning them. It's pretty like horrifying that you have to basically force police to investigate gang rapists because otherwise they will refuse to do it. You have to force and shame them into doing anything about these cases. That's sick stuff. All right. More than 800 such cases have already been reopened since January. Officials say the aim now is to scale that up, combining forces across regional police, specialist exploitation teams, and national units such as Operation Hydrant. Still don't know who the perpetrators are. Let's see. The crackdown will also involve the Child Exploitation Task Force and the Tackling Organized Exploitation Program, working in partnership to strengthen local investigations and improve police handling of abuse cases. So that part is looking towards the future. We need to make sure that police know how to handle things better in the future. That is something that needs to be done. Again, we just don't have a lot of reason to trust the government at this point that they're serious about anything. What they're saying would be a good idea. It's just we don't trust you guys. The move comes alongside the formal launch of a statutory public inquiry with powers to compel witnesses and direct local investigations after a rapid review by Louise Casey concluded a new probe was necessary. The inquiry will scrutinize how institutions, including local councils, police forces, and elected officials, failed vulnerable girls across the UK with a specific focus on mishandled or ignored complaints. It will be able to compel local deep dive investigations into historical cases and demand answers where complaints of wrongdoing or cover-ups have been made under powers granted by the 2005 Inquiries Act. All this is good so far. I still have no clue who the perpetrators of these crimes were. And I don't know if they're Asians or more specifically Pakistanis. Let's see. Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, said survivors of the abuse had been ignored for too long and described the new inquiry as a means to get truth and justice. Not enough people listened to them then. That was wrong and unforgivable. True. We're changing that now. I hope you are. The shift follows months of public and political pressure. Labor had previously resisted backing a national inquiry. What? I thought you guys were the champions of the little girls. Arguing that years of investigations and reviews, including the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse led by Professor Alexis J., had already exposed serious failings. But Starmer appointed Lady Casey earlier this year to revisit the case for further action and has now accepted all of her recommendations. The inquiry will be chaired by a single figure. I guess a lot of this is going to come down to who's in charge of this. The inquiry will be chaired by a single figure and report independently with the power to compel testimony and access to institutional records. I seriously hope they get someone good. And it seems like they'll have to get someone good, because if they don't get someone good, if they don't get someone that people can trust, no one's going to trust it. They're going to think it's a big joke. Speaking on Sunday, the Chancellor Rachel Reeves defended the change of position. The Prime Minister wanted to assure himself that everything possible was being done, she told the BBC. This is about justice, not grandstanding. Yeah. It's because all these people are like so into helping the girls. That's why they did it for so long.
Right.
What is this, man? All right, I'll read a little bit more, but it doesn't look like they're identifying anybody who was abusing these girls. But the U-turn has not gone unnoticed. The Reform UK leader, Nigel Farage, has welcomed the move, but accused the Labour government of dragging its feet. The Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, called on Starmer to apologize for what she described as 6 wasted months. The government had come under growing pressure to shift its stance after senior Conservatives, Farage campaigners, some victims' families, and even Elon Musk said only a full statutory inquiry could deliver accountability. Okay. Is there anything else? Who did this? Who was grooming these girls? You seriously did they did the entire... Okay, guys, I should have had a third option. Namely, they won't give any indication. They won't say Asians or Pakistanis or anything, unless I somehow missed it. But all right, guys, we have no idea. It's just one of life's great mysteries. It's one of life's great mysteries who was abusing these girls. We'll have no way of knowing. Definitely not going to see it from The Guardian. Definitely not going to see it from The Guardian. The Guardian will not tell us who's responsible for what's going on with these girls. AP, got any updates, man? You got any updates on what's going on? Or should I proceed?
Nobody knows. Go ahead. Continue.
No updates?
Continue.